In a small, quaint village where cobblestone pathways wove through ancient trees, lived a man named Thomas Ellington. Thomas was an unassuming figure. His demeanor was calm, and his presence almost ghostly in its stillness. Few could have predicted that within this man's heart resided the shadows of the most ghastly secret this hamlet had ever known. His neighbor, Hilda, was a woman of great intuition and an eye for the unusual. Living alone with her 2 cats, she spent her days tending to her garden, her hands ever present in the soil as if drawing nourishment from the very earth itself. She had seen many things in her years, but never had she been so perplexed as she was by the late-night comings and goings from Thomas's house. Thomas had always been courteous. He would tip his hat when he saw her, exchange pleasantries, and sometimes even bring her baked goods from the little bakery in the town square. But Hilda's keen senses detected something unsettling beneath his polite facade. She began to keep notes of the profound irregularities, the heavy bags he carried late into the night, the muffled noises that seemed to echo through the walls, the faint but unmistakable scent of decay that would waft through the air occasionally. Her curiosity turned to suspicion, and suspicion to determination. One stormy night, the heavens opened up and wept onto the village. The wind howled fiercely through the trees, making Hilda's heart race with an urgency she could not place. She looked out of her window and saw Thomas once again, struggling through the tempest with another of his burdensome parcels. With a courage that belied her age, Hilda donned her raincoat and boots and followed him while staying hidden within the shroud of the storm. Through the relentless rain, she saw Thomas dig furiously in his backyard, the earth yielding to his efforts as though complicit in his dark deeds. What emerged from the ground were the unmistakable remnants of human forms, the long-lost victims of a silent terror that had preyed upon the women of the village. Hilda's gasp was lost within the cacophony of thunder, but her soul knew the harrowing truth it had stumbled upon. Returning home, her hands trembled as she dialed the local constabulary. The officers, initially skeptical of the old woman's tale, found themselves drawn into a narrative they could scarcely comprehend when they arrived and witnessed the scene themselves. Thomas, realizing his time in the shadows was over, made no effort to flee. Instead, he stood amongst his ghastly trophies, a somber statue of malice and regret. Hilda's revelation tore through the village like wildfire, bringing both relief and despair. The women who had disappeared over the years were finally accounted for, their families given the cold comfort of closure. As for Thomas, he was taken away in silence, his polite facade shattered into 1,000 pieces of whispered horror. In the wake of the discovery, the village began to heal, though the scars remained. Hilda resumed her gardening, her vigilant eyes ever watchful for the unusual. She had faced the shadows and emerged, a fierce guardian of the light, forever changed but undaunted.